Hi, my name is Michał Lipinski and I am a ProConcrete application engineer at Bentley Systems. In this short video, I will describe rebar modeling basics such as code configuration and the ability of adding reinforcement to the reference models. In previous video, we spoke about concrete modeling and how to organize it. We will do the same now for reinforcement. Let's review the rebar code we set up during getting started video. You can see here I have multiple codes. The one I have chosen is this one, British Standard 8666-2000, and you can see it contains all the descriptions and it has grades set up in it, and then we have all the bars that are being set up as well. If you drill down through the information, you can see what can be set up. So for grades we have unit mass, we can set up strength, and then for the bars we can set up stock lengths, default lap lengths, anchorage lengths, etc. And of course we can set up bar bending radiuses for each of those bars. All of this can be modified, so if it doesn't meet your standard or your country code, it's very easy to create a new one and modify it to your needs. Okay, so we have our rebar code chosen and configured. We can now almost start modeling. Before we do that, let's take a look at some definitions. So in ProStructures and in any microstation based solution, we have 3D models, we have 2D drawings, and we have 2D sheets. And these are connected together, they work together. So out of the 3D model you got a 2D drawing, and that 2D drawing you then place on a sheet. Right now we can get concrete models, concrete 3D models from other solutions like MicroStation, OpenBridge Modeler, or EcoSim Building Designer, and then we can attach them as a reference to our reinforcement models and place reinforcement there in the reinforcement models. And finally, when you're done with modeling, you cut a 2D drawing out of that model and then you place it on the sheet. So that's the basic workflow. But when we use references, we can now use multiple reinforcement models for the same concrete model, and that's huge. This is a great opportunity to divide the model in smaller parts so that multiple people, multiple users can work on the model at one time. So no longer you have to put concrete and reinforcement in one model, you can now divide that into smaller pieces. And I would like to illustrate that with my structural model I have done here. You can see this model is empty really. It's called Reinforced Concrete Master. And if I go to references, here you will see I have multiple references attached to that model. So first of all I will switch on the concrete models. So that's the concrete frame I have modeled. This is it. This is my foundations model. Okay, and now all of the other ones contain reinforcement. So let me illustrate that. Let's pick one of the columns. This is column 4.1 and I'm gonna switch it on. You can see this is the reinforcement that was done only for that one concrete object, but all the others you can't see the reinforcement yet. They are in different models. If I switch on all the columns right now, that is it. If I switch on all the beams, right, ring beams and foundations, this is how I have divided my model so I can work, so multiple users can work at one time. When dividing into separate models, we have to consider our deliverables, 2D sheets. That means anything that needs to be shown on a drawing view needs to be in the same model. Okay, so now let's take a look at our modeling capabilities. We can now reinforce different objects from different solutions like MicroStation or EcoSim Building Designer. So to show you that, I'm gonna reference in two of those. First, I'm gonna go and reference MicroStation model. And this is just a column that was modeled with a solid. And another one I'm gonna reference in is Ecosim Building Designer model, which contains a column that was modeled with Ecosim column tool. So now I have three of those. The first one was already there and I modeled it with ProConcrete column tool. Okay, so now let's choose column reinforcing tool, and I will talk about the setup of this tool in a separate video. I will now use it to reinforce all of these columns below. So first one, and of course that works, this is a ProConcrete element. And I can also use this tool for reinforcement of Ecosim column and MicroStation column. So it works for other objects and other models, not only the one that is directly here, but also reference models. To prove that, I will switch off both of those right now, just to show you that this reinforcement is in the main model, but the concrete objects are in the referenced models. Also, a good feature we have here is that we can update reinforcement based on the changes that were made in the referenced models. So to show that, I will adjust this column that was made in MicroStation really slightly, and I will also adjust this column that was modeled with Ecosim Building Designer. I will stretch this up. So now both of those elements are changed. If we go to ProConcrete and references, you can see both of the references have pencil icons next to them. That means they have been changed and they need to be reloaded. If I do that, click on the pencil, it will update the references automatically. And not only the concrete was updated, but also reinforcement inside of it was updated too. So that gives us the ability to reinforce references and update them based on the changes in the concrete models. That concludes the video. Hope it has been useful. Next video in the series will be about modeling rebar in concrete columns and beams. Stay tuned.